A very good morning, viewers. You're watching Republic TV and I'm Deepak Suresh Kumar. This is Quick Morning, your one-stop show for all the latest news and updates, not just from across the country, from across the world, as well as we'll get you the top stories from the world of sports, business and entertainment. So let's start. First-time MLA Rekha Gupta will be the new Chief Minister of Delhi, capping 11 days of suspense over who will get the top post after the BJP returned to power after over 26 years, ending the 10-year rule of Arvind Kejriwal-led Aam Aadmi Party. Rekha Gupta was chosen as the leader of the House in the Delhi Assembly at the BJP Legislature Party meeting last evening, and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad, who along with O.P. Dhankar was appointed as the party's two central observers. She was accompanied by Prasad, Dhankar as well as Delhi BJP President Virendra Sachdeva, among others. They met LG, VK Saxena and staked claim to form the government.
आदरणीय मोदी जी को, अपनी पार्टी के शीर्ष नेतृत्व को और दिल्ली की जनता को, जिन्होंने ये मौका 27 साल बाद दिल्ली में एक नया अध्याय जो शुरू हो रहा है उसकी जिम्मेवारी मेरे कंधों पे दी, और शायद ये पूरे देश की महिलाओं के लिए बहुत ही सम्मान की घड़ी है और देश की आधी आबादी आदरणीय मोदी जी का दिल की गहराई से धन्यवाद करती।
The three-member high-level committee constituted by Odisha government to inquire into the alleged mistreatment meted out to a Nepali student by KIIT University in Bhubaneswar began their probe into the unfortunate incident on Wednesday. The committee comprises the Additional Chief Secretary of the Home Department, Principal Secretary, Women and Child Development and Commissioner of the Higher Education Department. The committee paid a visit to the university and held discussions with various stakeholders on the matter. PMK President Anbumani Ramados on Thursday announced that the party would organize a protest today demanding that the state government conduct a caste-wise census in Tamil Nadu. In a statement, the party said a resolution to this effect was also passed during a meeting chaired by party president Anbumani Ramadas in Chennai. The release also said that 69% reservation in Tamil Nadu faced a great threat from some forces, and the cases filed against the reservation policy may come up for hearing in the Supreme Court anytime. A six-member SIT headed by the Superintendent of Police was constituted Wednesday to probe the recent murder of two men in a remote village in Kathua district of Jammu and Kashmir. Bodies of Roshan Lal and Shamsher were retrieved from the banks of a stream in Batheri village in Bilawar on February 16. The post-mortem report of the bodies revealed that they had been strangled to death. A joint anti-terrorist operation by police, army as well as paramilitary forces are also underway in the nearby forest over the past couple of days. However, any breakthrough has eluded the investigators till date, the official said, expressing confidence that the setting up of the SIT will speed up the probe. The Karnataka Lokayukta police probing the Muda site allotment case on Wednesday gave a clean chit to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, his wife BM Parvathi and two others, citing lack of evidence, and submitted their final report to the Karnataka High Court. The development comes days after the Karnataka High Court rejected a plea to transfer the case to the CBI, the country's premier investigation agency. Two women and a teenage girl of a family were found dead inside their house in Kolkata, while three other members were injured after their car crashed into a metro rail pillar in the city on Wednesday. The police came to know about the deaths in the house from one of the three injured occupants of the car, all of whom were male. The police are yet to find out whether it is a case of suicide or murder. The family, which used to run a tannery business, was in financial difficulties. The three female bodies were found in separate rooms on the third floor of the four-story building in Tangra area. Wrists of two of the bodies were slit.
इस घर में 3 डेड बॉडी मिला था। तीनों डेड बॉडी महिलाओं का है, 2 थोड़ी एजेड है, एक जो है कम एज की बच्ची लग रही है। 2 में कुछ इंजरीज अपैरेंटली दिखाई दे रही हैं, लेकिन एग्जैक्टली तीनों में किस तरह का इंजरीज है, क्या है, ये पोस्टमार्टम के बाद में ही पता चल जाएगा।
With that, now let's tell you about what's happening in the world of business, from Tesla looking for showrooms in India to Donald Trump speaking about Tesla's entry. Here are the latest from the business world. US President Donald Trump said that he thinks that any plans that Tesla might have to open a factory in India would be very unfair. Trump made this comment during his interview along with Elon Musk. Comes a few days post Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US. According to Trump, countries around the world exploit the US through tariffs. According to a White House fact sheet, India imposes 100% tariffs on US motorcycles, while the US tariff on Indian motorcycle is merely 2.4%. Tesla has reportedly selected locations for 2 showrooms in Indian cities of New Delhi and Mumbai, moving closer to its long-delayed plan to sell its electric cars in the country. The US car maker has been hunting for showroom space in India since late last year in order to start the sales in the world's 3rd biggest auto market after putting market entry plans on hold in 2022. Reserve Bank of India launched a mobile application RBI Data, which will provide access to more than 11,000 different series of economic data related to the Indian economy. And the mobile app offers macroeconomic and financial statistics relating to the Indian economy in a user-friendly and visually engaging format. Users will be able to view time series data in graphs and also download data for analysis. There will also be a detail such as data source, unit of measurement, frequency, and recent updates. Further, the app's banking outlet section will help users find banking facilities within 20 kilometers of their location, and they can also access data about SAARC countries through the SAARC finance category. India and Qatar on Tuesday agreed to double bilateral trade to $28 billion over the next 5 years and also announced an elevation of their relationship to the level of strategic partnership as PM Modi held talks with Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. The 2 sides also signed 2 agreements, one on establishing strategic partnership and the other on revised double taxation avoidance agreement, and signed 5 MOUs to strengthen the economic partnership. Now, step up ties in the areas such as management of archives and also cooperation in youth affairs and sports. In a blog post on Wednesday, Uber announced that it has introduced a subscription-based model for auto drivers in India. Uber has several competitors in the market, including Rapido, Namayatri, and that have already been offering subscription-based models for auto drivers. Cab-hailing platform Uber, which also provides bike as well as shuttle services, stated that the firm's most used product was the auto segment in the year 2024. Until now, Uber has been keeping up with its traditional approach in terms of its revenue-based model for auto drivers, where it kept a share of the fare for each ride as a commission. Uber is also planning to connect with nearby drivers, but the service itself will reportedly operate independently of Uber. Welcome back, viewers. Now let's tell you what's happening across the world, from global headlines to top statements by world leaders. Here are the latest coming in from across the world. As momentum grows over creating peace to end Moscow's war, Trump unleashed a scathing attack on Zelenskyy and accused him of doing a terrible job, dubbing him as a dictator without elections. His comments followed Zelensky's statements in which the Ukrainian leader said Trump was living in a disinformation space. The remarks by Zelenskyy came while responding to the US president's claim that only 4% of Ukrainians trusted their government. And the war of words began between the two as bloodshed continues in Ukraine, and Zelenskyy hasn't been able to win the war even after US's support of $350 billion. The war of words between the two came hours after Trump pushed back against Ukraine's objections to being excluded from peace talks, suggesting that Ukraine was the one to be blamed for the ongoing war.
Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed and no city would have been demolished.
NATO members continued their largest combat exercise of 2025, testing their ability to rapidly deploy large-scale forces on the 32-nation alliance's eastern border as worries grow over its most powerful member, the US. The Steadfast Dart 2025 drills comprise about 10,000 military personnel from 9 nations as part of NATO's new allied reaction force. And the drills in Romania, which borders Ukraine, come as a shaken Europe grapples with a new US course under President Donald Trump. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth demanded that allies dramatically ramp up military spending and must lead from the front as Russia-Ukraine war nears its third anniversary.
In the last decade, the threats facing our alliance have become increasingly complex and unpredictable. And in 6 days, we will mark the start of the 4th year of Russia's unprovoked invasion and continued war in Ukraine. To address this complex security environment, NATO has undergone a significant warfighting transformation. We have taken our defensive plans from concept to
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be boycotting a meeting of G20 foreign ministers to be held in South Africa this week amid simmering tensions between the two nations, giving the forum a miss. Rubio has accused South Africa of anti-Americanism and made it very clear that he would not attend the G20 meeting. Tensions have been simmering between the nations after Trump severed aid and assistance to the black-led South African government in response to South African government's new land law expropriating private land from Afrikaners. The bodies of 6 migrants who drowned in the Aegean Sea when their inflatable dinghy began to take in water were recovered by the Turkish Coast Guard. Another 20 migrants were also rescued from the boat which began sinking off the Turkish coastal town of Silkak when 7 others were also rescued from the sea. The identities of the nationalities of these migrants were not known immediately. Boat traffic between Congolese cities of Goma and Bukavu resumed after several days of suspension due to vicious fighting between DRC's army and M23 rebels. This comes after Rwanda-backed rebels captured the 2 key cities in Congo's mineral-rich east in less than a month after a major escalation in the years-long fighting. The conflict between the two has been going on since the time the rebels have been vying control over the mineral-rich east in Congo. At least 2 people died after 2 small planes collided mid-air in southern Arizona. Soon after the crash, authorities immediately responded to the incident and began rescue operations. And as rescue operations continue, the cause of the collision remains unknown. Dozens of federal workers protested the Trump administration's medical research cuts and layoffs at the National Institute of Health in Washington, D.C. Thousands of federal government employees were shown the door in the first month of President Trump's administration as the White House and its Department of Government Efficiency fire both new and career workers. Dozens voiced their concern over the layoffs and raised problems they were facing as a result of cuts.
As a result of these cuts from the Trump administration, I am prevented from continuing this research even as an unpaid volunteer. When I hear people say these cuts are making our government more efficient, I am at a loss. How can that be true when I am prevented from working for free?
Winter continues to hit hard in northern Gaza, with many of the Palestinians displaced by the devastating war between Hamas and Israel struggling to protect themselves from the wind, cold and rain. Nearly 600,000 Palestinians flooded back into northern Gaza under the now month-old ceasefire in that particular region. The war between Israel and Hamas left thousands homeless and killed dozens of hundreds of people. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video message a day before Hamas is expected to release the bodies of 4 hostages who have long feared dead. He consoled the families while ensuring that the nation stood with them while denying responsibility for their deaths. Hamas claimed all 4 were killed in an Israeli airstrike early in the war. With that, viewers, it's time for us to slip into another short break. We'll be right back with the latest coming in, so stay tuned.